Sairam students, let's begin with the class 8 political science. Today we are doing the revision of chapter number 4 of political science. Chapter's name is Understanding Laws. Now let's go through the content of the chapter. Do laws apply to all? How do new laws come about? Unpopular and controversial laws. Now let's begin with each and every topic in detail here. Do laws apply to all? The most important was that all persons in independent India are equal before the law. See, we know that everyone is equal, but why laws are required? Laws are required to stop unjust as well as illegal practices, right? But if we'll talk about the most important thing is that all persons in independent India are equal before the law, right? The law cannot discriminate between persons on the basis of their religion, caste, or gender. What does it mean? It means that the law is equally for everyone, right? It doesn't discriminate anyone on the basis of any of these given things, that is religion, caste, or gender. Now, what does the rule of law mean? What is the meaning of it? It means that the rule of law means that all laws apply equally to all citizens of the country and no one can be above the law. It means neither a government official, nor a wealthy person, nor even the president of the country is above the law. And whomsoever, whatever is the position of the person, of the citizen, that person is going to get the equal punishment for the mistakes that they have done. It means no discrimination on the basis of that, whether the person is a government official, whether he is a rich person, whether he is a poor person, no discrimination. In ancient India, there were innumerable and often overlapping local laws. While different communities enjoy different degrees of autonomy as well as in administrating this new laws. What does it say? It's among their own, that the punishment that two persons received for the same crime varied depending on their caste backgrounds. This was happening in ancient India. Okay, with lower caste being more harshly penalized. The people, those who were belonging to the lower caste, they were punished severely, harshly. This slowly began to change as the system of law began to further evolve during the colonial period. So it is often believed that it was the British colonialists who introduced the rule of law in India. Historians have disputed this claim on several grounds. Let's see what are the grounds. First, that the colonial law was arbitrary, and the second, that the Indian nationalists played a prominent role in the development of the legal sphere in British India. Now, one example of arbitrariness is given here, that is Sedition Act of 1870. Now, what is that? The idea of sedition was very broadly understood within this act, but what does it say? Any person protesting or criticizing the British government could be arrested without due trial. This is what the Sedition Act of 1870 mentioned. Now let's see Indian nationalists, what they did. Another example of British arbitrariness was the Rowlatt Act, which allowed the British government to imprison people without due trial. Then Indian nationalists, they began protesting and criticizing this arbitrary use of authority by the British. They also began fighting for the greater equality and wanted to change the idea of law from a set of rules that they were forced to obey. It was like whether they are following the rule or whether it is against them. Then too, it was compulsory for everyone to follow the rules. That is the reason people were opposing it. They began to fight for it, for the greater equality. Then to law as including ideas of justice. So by the end of the 19th century, the Indian legal profession also began emerging and demanded respect in the colonial courts. They began to use law to defend the legal rights of Indians. So, Indian judges also began to play a greater role in making decisions here. Therefore, there were several ways in which Indians played a major role in the evolution of the rule of law during the colonial period. Then, with the adoption of the constitution, the document served as the foundation on which our representatives began making laws for the country. Then, children, here you can see the Hindu Succession Act of 2005 that you have learnt in your lower classes about this. According to this law, sons, daughter, and their mothers can get an equal share of family property. Even similarly, new laws have also been enacted to control population and provide employment. So, how do people come to think and propose that a new law is necessary? We are going to learn in the next now. How do new laws come about? See, we know very well the parliament has an important role in making laws, right? There are many ways through which this takes place, and it is often different groups in society that raise the need of a particular law. So, the important role of the parliament here is to be sensitive to the problems that is faced by the citizens of India, that is faced by the people. Now let us understand and what is the role of parliament. We know it is like sensitive role, okay, to the problems faced by the people. So now I'll give you the example of the issue of domestic violence that was brought to the attention of the parliament and the process adopted for this issue to become a law. Children, here domestic violence is given, the meaning of it is given to you, refers to the injury or harm or threat of injury or harm caused by an adult male, usually the husband, against his wife. If you all remembered, we have seen the story based on the domestic violence, right? In that story, we have seen that in December 2002, the Standing Committee submitted its recommendations to the Rajya Sabha, and these were also tabled in the Lok Sabha. Then the committee's report accepted most of the demands of the women's problem. So finally, a new bill was reintroduced in Parliament in the year 2005. After being passed in both the houses, that is in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, it was sent to the President for his assent. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act came into effect in 2006. So I think you all have learnt that story very well, that is there in the textbook. Then it means the role of the citizens is crucial in helping Parliament frame different concerns that people might have into laws. See, from establishing the need for a new law to its being passed, at every stage of the process, the voice of the citizen plays a very important role. It's a crucial element. So this voice can be heard through TV reports, newspapers, editorials, radio broadcast, local meetings. So all of this which help in making the work that Parliament does more accessible and transparent to the people. Then once we have understood how do laws apply to all, okay, then the next is unpopular and the controversial law. Now let's understand the meaning of these terms, unpopular and controversial laws. What is that? Now, what is that unpopular and controversial law? See, Parliament passes laws that turn out to be very unpopular, right? Sometimes a law can be constitutionally valid and hence legal, but it can continue to be unpopular and unacceptable by the people. That is, people, they feel that because they feel that the intention behind it is unfair and harmful. It means behind that law. So what do they do? In the democracies like ours, citizens can express their unwillingness to accept repressive laws that is framed by the parliament. Now let's understand the meaning of the term repressive. See, repressive means to control the natural and the free development of expression or stop the people from exercising their fundamental rights. So what can be done for this? When a large number of people begin to feel that a wrong law has been passed, then what they can do? then there is a pressure on the parliament also to change this, because what the parliament feels, that parliament has to do everything according to the consent of the people, that is the citizens of India. Okay, but if large number of people opposes the wrong law, the law that has been passed, so definitely the parliament has to take step to change this, right? Yeah, I'll give you the example here. The various municipal laws on the use of space within municipal limits often make hawking and street vending, that is street vendors, that their job has been told as illegal, right? They are not allowed to have their this street vendors. They are not allowed everywhere in the open spaces, right? So no one will dispute the necessity for some rules to keep the public space open so that people can walk on the pavements easily. But one also cannot deny that hawkers and vendors, they provide essential services cheaply as well as efficiently to the millions of the people in our city, right? Especially if I talk about the large cities as our Mumbai, we can say it is really helpful because the hawkers and vendors, they give you the services quickly as well as the rates are very cheaper. And whereas this is also, we cannot deny also, like this is their only means of livelihood, right? So if the law favors one group and disregards the other, it will be controversial. That is the controversial law. If it is supporting one group and disregarding the another group, that is controversial and it leads to conflict. So people who think that the law is not fair can approach the court, right? It is the freedom it is given is the fundamental rights in the Constitution of India. If someone is not happy, anyone can approach to the court when they are not satisfied with the decisions. The court has the power to modify or cancel laws if it finds that they don't adhere to the Constitution. Adhere means, it means they don't believe in and follow the practices of. If they feel that is not believing or following the practices based on that, so they have the right to go to the court for this. Now here I have given you some examples. You go through the images that has been given here. This photo that shows you the different ways in which the citizens can protest, campaign, and they can show their unity here, right? Or they can show their feelings towards the government. Like what is there? See, signature campaign is there, hunger strike. We have heard about all this, rallies, as well as we have heard about the dharnas also, right? So these are the images that tells you about the different type of protest that can be done. To show that like they are not happy with the things and they want that law to be changed. So we need to remember that our role as citizens does not end with electing our representatives. Correct? It means I voted in the election. It means my work is done as a citizen. No. It is then that we begin to use newspapers and the media to carefully chart the work that is being done by our MPs. MPs means, children, you all know very well, that is the members of parliament, right? And criticize their actions when we feel it is required. Thus, what we should bear in mind is that it is the extent, involvement, and enthusiasm of the people that helps Parliament perform its representative functions properly. So, here we have completed with the topic today's, do laws apply to all? How do new laws come about? And also about the unpopular and the controversial law. So children, we have completed with the revision of chapter number 4 of political science, that is understanding laws. Go through the main videos also, as well as go through this revision video, and then revise each and every, read the chapter thoroughly, go through each and every point. Even the glossary that has been given in your textbook is also essential, so go through that. So children, see you in the next session with the revision of some new chapter. Till then, take care.